Namaste. Welcome to Smriti. We are back again with Shri N.V. Raghuram Garu enlightening us on yoga and Vedanta. And we have done several episodes, and he really walked us on the yoga journey, touching many points along the timeline so far, and continuing on the same topic, yoga and Vedanta. Raghuram Garu, when we hear about yoga or when we experience yoga within and without, generally words or the aspects that come about is asanas, pranayama, and definitely whether it is in India or outside of India, Patanjali comes into picture, the Rishi.
Right.
So I would like you to give a good insight on what exactly the sutras are and about the great Rishi, so that we can bring more awareness and really make use of the Rishi's grace.
Namaste, Andy.
Namaste.
Before I get into the story of Patanjali, in our culture, there is one thing that very nicely used. Probably in every culture, that was the same kind of a thing was there, but it was so much more in our culture. That is, we try to create a whole story behind everything so that it becomes like a living kind of an expression that is there.
Nice.
Like a simple thing is that just we go to the Christianity, the way that I would look at it is that similar story we have it in India also, in Indian culture also. That is, there is one boy who comes to learn from a teacher, and the teacher says that you give me your father's name, and then he says that I don't know my father's name. And wonder said, why don't you go and ask your mother to tell your father's name? And then he comes back next day to the school, and then he's so innocent. He says that, my mother was serving so many people and all that in the process that I was born. She doesn't know who is my father. Everybody laughs, but the teacher says, your mother is so sincere, so honest, so simple, and you are so simple. So her simplicity is like, as a child just born, therefore her name is Ja Bala. Ja means born, child is Bala. She is Ja Bala, and you are honestly telling this truth. Never hesitated that somebody laughs and makes fun of you. Therefore, you are Satyakama. See, therefore, the Satyakama Jabala is the way that your name is. You are known by your mother's name. See how beautifully the whole thing has been. There was no mystery in that, but then it was just presented in a beautiful story. Like that in the Jesus Christ also, he was so pure, so extraordinary. Wherever he would go, he tells the truth. In spite of the fact that somebody told him that, look, they are looking for you to see that they want to punish you. Then, how honestly he says that, look, just because that they punish me, should you mean to say that I should not tell I should tell a lie? See, what must be his mother? She must be so pure. So therefore, she was called as Virgin Mary.
Okay.
So, it's a real life, but you enhance it with the help of this kind of a story. So our characters also have all this kind of thing. Like, for example, I'll tell you about Buddha. Buddha, can you imagine that a person who is born in a royal family, just because that his interest is what is beyond the death to know about it, he leaves everything and then go to sit and meditate and then becomes a Buddha, a Siddhartha. So therefore, that they created a beautiful story around him saying that when he was born, there were 5 saints from Himalayas. They came running to him. They said, we want to see this boy because this person is going to be somebody extraordinary. See, they create a nice, wonderful situation around that. Like that, in my view, that it is like this, that yoga has been all the time there in this planet Earth. It was there right from the beginning as a way of life. And the recordings of that is there in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Vedas and all that. That is there. So all that is there. Somebody has to come forward to write a a sutras, that is formula for that, and that is what Patanjali has done. So you can just imagine what an extraordinary brain it must have been, what extraordinary personality it is, because the whole thing is about the inner science. And inner personality, we don't even know. I mean, you can't even stretch an imagination to see that there are so many different levels and all those things. And Patanjali could see that. In fact, he's genius of geniuses that I could think of, that who could come out with such beautiful formula to explain about the inside. So therefore, he was supposed to be somebody. Now you see the story, how beautifully it unfolds itself. That it was like he was not born just like mother, born to parents or anything like that. Not just like born that in a nursing home or in a hospital, somebody gave birth to it. But somebody has done the puja offering, and then he was handling the water in his hands, and and then suddenly that there is a drop of oil kind of a thing, the pearl kind of thing fell in his hand, and that became Patanjali, and then he became Patanjali.
Oh,
So
okay.
that means he must have been so pure that he knows about where is the birth of the origin of a human being is there. So therefore, he takes us through that journey.
Okay.
He takes us through that journey.
So why
This is
water? Opus, they say that opus is the core of knowledge
yes,
and the birth
right,
and everything. So now it makes
right,
relevance to this story.
yes.
Ah, okay.
So historically speaking, because that there are references about this uh, before Shankaracharya was born, therefore he must have been before Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya himself is such a legendary personality. At the age of 7 years, somebody went around the whole country to understand about it, spread the message. And by 33, he is not there anymore. Within that, how much of work physically he has done it, literally he has done, historically he has done. So these are the great people who are like the way peaks in this particular culture. If this culture is like a Himalayan with several peaks, it's not just one Everest or one Annapurna, but there were so many peaks, and such peaks are these people. So Patanjali was one such person. And then before that, all this yoga was there. All that what he has done is he compiled those ideas in the form of sutras or the formulae. It's very similar to like the way that geometry has always been there in the nature. Like for example, if you try to join 2 points in a smallest distance, and that's what is a straight line. And Euclid came and gave a theory for that, a theorem number one. What is theorem number? The distance between, minimum distance between 2 points is a straight line, which is always there. Like that, Patanjali also has given us a philosophy which is already there in the life, which all means basically the basis for our life is this philosophy. So Patanjali has given the text on that. 195 sutras are there, very beautiful, divided into 4 chapters. And that is what is Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Truly speaking, that is the basis of yoga. That's the basis of life. But then what is extraordinary thing about that is Sankhya is something about the world outside, manifested world. But Patanjali talks about the world that is within you, inside you. Your mind, your prana, and the various activities going on inside you. If I ask you to say that, all right, try to categorize, put these things, now a lot of people have given already some idea, therefore we talk about it. Otherwise, can you think of that there is somewhere memory is going on, somewhere analysis is going on, somewhere else, a platform where all the senses are together, working together. A person who has given that kind of details and everything is Patanjali. So somebody, and not only that he has given, He has given so scientifically. One of the important thing about the science is science does not take any sides. Science is not biased. Science is very clear, pure. And in science, there is nothing like I like it, I don't like it. In science, there is nothing like this is good, this is bad, kind of a thing. So Patanjali never takes up a stand like that. He's absolutely scientific. In fact, somewhere I read a person commenting about Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He says that his Yoga Sutras are more scientific than the science itself. Science cannot maintain that rigor which Patanjali maintained it. And when you read the sutras, you can find the beauty of it. One of the important things about the science is that science will not address anything without defining it. Without a proper definition, science will not use any word. It is the rigors of science. And Patanjali also is like that. When he says yoga, he has to define it before he went further. And the definition should be from the terms that is already known to us. Unknown terms we can't define. At one place, he also uses the word called Ishwara. Ishwara means normally people think God, Almighty, etc., etc. No, don't guess. I'm giving you the definition of Ishwara. Klesha karma Vipaka, Ashayaih, Aparamrushtaha, Purusha, Visheshah, Ishwaraha. Absolutely nails you down. This is the beauty of Patanjali. So therefore, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are something that it is as scientific as physics or chemistry or math or electronics and things like that. Only the difference is that physics, mathematics, electronics at all is about the world outside, and Patanjali about the world inside. So therefore, we need to get into Patanjali. It is like entering into a laboratory. So, and what is the laboratory here? That you are the laboratory, you went inside. And Patanjali says these are the few things that are there. It's like the way hydrogen and oxygen at this particular temperature under this condition will become water. Now you go to the laboratory and test it. The same way Patanjali says Sutra, now it is you have to test it for yourself. That's all. Patanjali does not say this is right or wrong, good or bad, this and that, or you are useless, nothing like that. You just go ahead and do it. That's all. He doesn't take any biased stand. There is another thing. Why I'm saying this is, if you look at the definition given by Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, it is biased. In the sense that Arjuna needed that kind of a motivation from Krishna. And he defines yoga, but then that yoga definition is with an agenda that it has to motivate Arjuna. That's why he wants Arjuna to get back into the activity. Therefore, Krishna says, Yoga karmasu kaushala. So, in karma, that whatever that enhancement that you give, that's what is yoga. Therefore, you go and fight the war. Similarly, Yoga Vasishtha gives the definition of yoga. Rama was in depression and Vasishtha is teaching him. Therefore, he says that Manaprashamana upayaha yogaha. The definition is that, look, your mind is confused. And when you remove a technique, a trick which can remove all the confusions of the mind, that's what is yoga. Whereas Patanjali is very, very strict and straightforward, unbiased, and he takes a very neutral stand. And the beautiful way that he puts is that you see, on one side is the world, and the other side is you. And in between, whatever that goes on is supposed to be vritti, which happens in the field of mind. Mind has a capacity to vritti, that means connect you to the world outside. If you did not have mind, there is no way that you would connect with the world outside. But then when you go into the vritti, identify with that, then you think that you are the world, you forget that you are the consciousness. But when you do yoga, then you come back and identify yourself with the consciousness.